Well, hey everybody! Today we're gonna do a Zatlux showcase because Zatlux is absolutely amazing, and he is actually my very favorite hero, and he has a ton of utility. So if it's your first time here, my name is BearCozy. I strive to make not only entertaining but also educational videos. I like to make account progress videos, and I like to have a good time. And today what I want to do is I wanted to do a champion showcase on Zatlux. Now my Zatlux is actually geared fairly well. He is my second best geared hero, and the absolute best thing about Zatlux, there's actually two things. The first thing is his crit rate. He only needs 70% crit rate. And we're going to take him into Void Tower in a minute to see how he does, to see how he performs. So the first thing is he only needs 70% crit rate, which means you can stack crit damage on him because it's a lot easier to hit 70% crit than it is to hit 100. And the other thing is actually on his ultimate, he deals 200% damage to an enemy plus bonus damage. The fewer the enemies remaining, the higher the bonus damage dealt, which is really, really cool. His damage scales with fewer enemies. And if this ability kills the target, then it launches a bonus attack, and he can essentially just keep going and going. As long as he kills the enemy, he can continue killing. He's an absolute killing machine. So here we go. We are on floor 3. I know this is very, very easy content, but this is a really good showcase for Zatlux. And of course, as we climb, we are going to continue taking him, and I usually take my go-to team, which is Nathalia, because she has my best gear. Zatlux is actually very, very close. Nathalia has 268 crit damage. Zatlux has 262, and he's very, very close. He is a little bit slower than Nathalia, and I did that on purpose. Now, I can ascend him right now, and I can give him an extra 15 speed. However, that will mean he goes before Nathalia, and I have Nathalia tuned currently for Ash Magisteria 12 because I've been farming that a lot. Right now, I don't have the stats or the gear to farm 13 and 14, but I'm fairly happy with 12. So right now, the team is tuned for Ash Magisteria 12, and Zatlux is unascended on his third ascension. But as you can see, he's really, really good. I'm not going to go through too many of the floors. Of course, he can do this in adventure as well. He is really good in dungeons as well to go ahead and clear those waves and then get to the boss much faster, because if you don't use Zatlux or if you don't have Zatlux, it does take you quite a little bit more time to get through those waves and to get to the boss. So it adds a lot more time, probably over a minute, closer to 2 minutes, to just get through the waves, depending on the level of difficulty you are doing. And of course, the absolute best thing about Zatlux is you can get him in the Shadow Covenant, which is really, really cool. So essentially, he's free. Now, for me, I pulled mine from the newbie summons where you get to pick out of the 5 summons that you get to pick what you want. Hydrisia was my only Lego. I passed on her. And my other option was Zatlux and William. They came as a package. So I decided to go with Zatlux and William because they're both phenomenal. And I feel like they're probably both better than Hydrisia, even though Hydrisia is a legendary. So right now, Zatlux is doing his thing. He's spinning to win, right? He's spinning to win. And if anybody's played Diablo 3, that's usually what I play. The spin to win is absolutely awesome. But he is spinning to win because he is amazing. He's fantastic in adventure. You can 2-team, you can 1-man adventure. And what makes him really, really good, his trait is called Bloodthirst. Upon defeating an enemy, resets all of this character's ability cooldowns. So as long as you kill one enemy, all of his ability cooldowns are reset. Now, if he is ascended, which mine is, I pulled myself a second copy of Zatlux, and then I used an Awaken Soul Arcana, which you can farm with Endless Trial potions, and that's what I've been doing with Endless Trial tokens, Upon defeating an enemy, not only does it reset all of his ability cooldowns, but it also grants him Attack Up, and Attack Up gives him plus 30% attack, which is actually awesome. So every time he kills an enemy, he always has a buff on himself, allowing him to continue. And typically, the way he works is he starts with Feast of Carnage, which is the ultimate. It deals 200% damage to an enemy, and every time you kill an enemy, it just keeps resetting, which is really, really cool. And the fewer the enemies remaining, the higher the bonus damage dealt. That makes him really, really good. And of course, his passive here grants him already 30% crit rate and plus 30 precision. So as I've mentioned before, because of his passive, you only need 70% crit rate on him to max him out, and his passive actually gives him 30. So right now, with the crit rate from his gear, I am at 71%, and that puts him at 101 with his passive. As you can see, his crit damage is at 262. I did try to push that as high as I could, and that was really cool. His attack is about 3,800. It's a little bit lower. I would like to get it to 4,000. However, That is the best I can do at the time. And if we look at his gear, previously to this, I actually had him, and I actually didn't realize I ended up putting him in a curse set. Apparently I did that for Clan Boss, which is the banker, which is totally fine. Previously, I had him in a rage set because that was the best I could do. I could not get enough crit rate. And apparently, this is the only way in a rage set and a warrior set, this is the only way that I could get him 270% crit rate and 262 damage. The curse set was not intentional, but it does help in dungeons, it does help in guild boss, and I think just through the sequence of events, this was actually the best way for me to get the stats that I needed. Now, as you can see, there's still a lot of room to improve, right? The helmet can improve, the chest can improve, the crit damage ring can definitely improve. We can push his crit damage a lot higher, which is really nice. I believe another 11%. That's going to be awesome. And then we can push his attack a lot higher. And of course, we can work on getting one more roll here and then one more roll here. That is locked, and that's going to be really cool. His helmet is locked. It has a nice attack roll and a crit damage roll. And his chest piece, we probably need to lock that. It has some really crappy rolls, but we did roll once on crit rate, so I think this one I'm going to leave at 12. Taking it to 15 is risky. I do have a 50% chance to roll crit rate or crit damage. If I roll crit rate, that's not going to help us any. So there's a 25% chance to roll crit damage, which is pretty small, and probably even less considering there's a chance to roll a brand new stat. So right now, that's what it is. During the gear enhancement event, I am going to be working on his ring, see if I can max that out, and see if we can roll maybe health or another stat, crit damage, maybe speed, something like that. So where is Zatlux good? Well, Zatlux is actually really, really good. If we go to Chapter 8, Zatlux is actually really, really good here. Here's my team. I want to do one multi here, and Zatlux is absolutely phenomenal. Now, I am going to Chapter 8 because right now, that's the farthest that I've progressed, and I keep forgetting because I really don't have a reason to continue pushing any higher. But here's what I'm using. I'm using Brand into Sierra, and of course, Sierra has her AoE damage. Her gear is subpar, but she is in here. I am trying to give her a little bit of love. Of course, Nathalia is fantastic. I don't even know if Zatlux has a chance to go in here because I have Nathalia. She does a ton of damage, and she is my best hero. And then after that, we have Zatlux. Looks like he'll get a chance to go. He is the cleanup guy, so anything that does not die from Nathalia or Sierra, anything that is strong against their element, Zatlux will come in and he will clean up, and that's going to be really cool. And that's why I absolutely love Zatlux. If you give him enough gear, he can be a one-man army, and this works out really, really well. I usually run as a four-man team. I could probably run him solo. I usually run this as a four-man full team because I set up my multis and I walk away. I go do what I got to do when I'm farming glyphs, and then I come back and my glyphs are there. So Zatlux can be a one-man wrecking crew, which is really cool. And you can actually get him from the Shadow Covenant, which is right here. You go to the Covenant. I keep calling it the Shadow Covenant. It's just called Covenant in the game. And then from your main screen, you click on whoever happens to be sitting on the stool. For me, right now, that is Sierra because I have not completed Hard Void Tower. That is quite difficult. I'm still getting gear. But as you can see, Zatlux is actually here. And it's not too bad. Battling in Arena but probably takes the longest, and if you play Arena quite a bit, that'll take you about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and you can get him. And he is a really, really good free-to-play option. And then, of course, he excels when you're able to ascend him twice. And for that, as I've mentioned, you can use yourself Awaken Soul Arcana that you can get from the bartender. And if you go down to the trial shop and you work on your endless trial, you can get yourself Awaken Soul Arcana right here for 3,000 tokens. And right now I have 3. I did just spend 4 and I have 3 more. So I have been farming them. They are coming along very, very nicely. And if you keep up with the Endless Trial, you can buy yourself Awaken Soul Arcanas and you can ascend Zatlux, who you can get from the Covenant. And there he is. He is now sitting on the bar stool, which is really cool. I think I'm going to leave him there because I love the way he looks. And as I mentioned before, he is free to play. You can get him just by playing the game. And he is one of the best heroes in the game, so don't miss him. So that's going to be it. There is the champion spotlight right there on Zatlux. I hope you enjoyed the content. Leave me a nice comment below, as well as a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.